Buongiorno, today I'm going to be talking to you about capitare and capire, two Italian verbs that look very similar but mean completely different things. Okay, if you remember one thing from this video, I'd like you to remember that capire means to understand. Now you might know this one already. Non capisco would be I don't understand, or sì capisco molto bene would be I understand very well. However, capitare is a similar verb or similarly spelled verb that means to happen. Yeah, so mi è capitato che means it's happened to me. Okay, yeah, quite an important one, and the reason I'm making this video is I do transcribe all my Italian lessons, and this is something that came up a couple of times, so I wanted to make a video about it just to really explain the difference in case there's anyone else who's also making a similar mistake. But let's start out with some common mistakes then. So yeah, okay, the main one is obviously going to be just visual similarity. Yeah, so you might see capi in both words and just assume that they're related. Yeah, they are completely different verbs with completely different origins. So again, just one more time. Capire means to understand. Capitare means to happen. Yeah, just kind of pattern recognition as well. So you might think that capitare is just capire with extra steps. And this is something I've heard is something like non capito quello che dici instead of non capisco, which, yeah, obviously is just completely incorrect. Yeah, so, yeah, especially in the past tense. So, è capito ieri instead of è capitato ieri. Let me just expand this point a little bit. So, we have capire, yeah, to understand. If I said in the past tense that I didn't understand, I would need to say non ho capito. Yeah, but if I wanted to say capitare in the past tense, like it happened to me, non mi è capitato. Yeah, so capito and capitato. So, yeah, quite easy to confuse these two. Yeah, also just a small cultural difference as well. So in English, when we say happen, I think it's a bit broader than the way that we use capitare in Italian. So we might say something like, what happened just in general, or we might use this very often. But capitare is a little bit more about unexpected things, like it happens to happen to me. Yeah, so it was by chance that it happened to me. I think this is the usage that is a bit more common in Italian. Let's have a look at some example vocabulary that might make a little bit more sense when we have a look. So, capire. This is the classic capisco, capisci, capisce. Yeah, so I, you, or he or she understands. So if I wanted to just say something like ho capito, I understood. Non ci ho capito niente, I didn't understand anything. A couple more phrases. Capire al volo. Al volo is a lovely, lovely phrase. So you may know that volo means flight or fly. It comes from the verb volare, which is to fly. You may have heard the song Volare. Yeah, that's where it comes from. So al volo would be something like, on the fly. So capire al volo. Fammi capire. Again, very, very common one. Let me understand. Often used if you're, if you're having an argument. It's like, let me understand. Let me get one thing straight. Yeah, is how we might say it. Express the idea in English. Ci siamo capiti is, do we understand each other? Versus capitare is completely the opposite. Usually, okay, we only use capita and capitano. Let me expand this point a bit. So up here, let me just make. So we would say io capisco, I understand. Yeah, tu capisci, you understand. Okay, you probably see where I'm going with this. Let's just fill this in the rest of the table. Lui, lei capisce, he or she understands, noi capiamo, voi capite, and loro capiscono. Okay, if you're unsure what I'm doing here, then you need to watch a video on something called present indicative. To be fair, if you just Google present tense Italian conjugation, you will find an explainer on all of this. But for those of you that understand, and hopefully you do if you're watching a video on this, yeah, this is basically how we would conjugate capire. Now, capitare, we really only use the lui, lei version of capita and loro capitano, but we don't really use this. We use at lui, lei, and at loro. So what this means is like to him or her happens, or to them happens. I wanted to draw this distinction because this is similar to a couple of other verbs in Italian, like piacere, which is to like. With piacere, we pretty much only use piace or piacciono, or mancare. We usually say, like, lui manca a me, or loro mancano. Okay, maybe mancare a little bit less, but definitely piacere. So, yeah, like mi piace, non mi piace, or mi piacciono le pizze, blah 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 blah. So, all that to say that we pretty much only use the lui, lei, and loro versions of capitare, which is why here I've put capita and capitano, and up here I've put io, tu, lui, lei, noi, voi, loro, etc. Anyway, let's keep going. So, let's have a look down here. Mi capita spesso. It happens to be often. È capitato per caso. This is a great phrase I'd suggest you use. È capitato per caso. Capitare nel posto giusto. Yeah, and again, so for example, you could replace this with like ho capitato nel posto giusto, which is I ended up in the right place. Capita a tutti. Happens to everyone. Again, this is a really nice one, just like, hey, don't worry about it, happens to the best of us, is how I would translate that. Non capita tutti I giorni. It doesn't happen every day. Okay, so that is a very brief explanation of these two verbs. I'm going to give you some example sentences and conversation in a second, but first you get to listen to my sales pitch. So I've made a Italian practice tool. Basically, a bunch of different quizzes. Let me move my big head out of the way. At the moment, we have verbs, articles, numbers, and other. So let's take verbs. Let's go to like the present tense, for example. This is, the screen. And here you could basically just go through and... in fact, this is a mistake. I need to make this. Okay, but for example, the way it should work, okay, you can go through and put in all of your questions. If you get something wrong, it will show the right answer, and you can go back and change it. Yeah. So the reason I made this is on Duolingo and similar apps, I find it frustrating that you can't just search for a specific type of exercise. Like, for example, if you just wanted to practice the past tense, or if you just wanted to practice, the way that you say, like, my, this is a really common one, like my, your, his or her. So yeah, I basically made this. It's right now it's a product in beta. It's completely free. So I'd really love you to try it out and get some feedback. So I'll leave a link to this in the description. You don't need to sign up or anything. You can just get on and have a go. Obviously, depending on if you're watching this video in the future, that may change. And the other thing is I also have a newsletter. So if you'd like to hear from me, send out a newsletter once a week, basically just with some tips and tricks to learn Italian. So if that's something that interests you as well, I will leave a link to sign up to that in the description. Okay, let's carry on with our sentences here. Okay, so capire and capitare. Non capisco perché sei arrabbiato. Yeah, non capisco, I don't understand. Why? Hai capito la lezione di oggi? Did you understand? Hopefully the answer is yes. Fammi capire. Vuoi partire o restare? Yeah, so give it to me. Give it to me straight. Tell me exactly what you want. Si è fatto capire molto bene. He made himself understood. This is a nice one. Si è fatto capire. This is quite an elegant way to speak. Capisco l'inglese, ma non lo parlo. So I understand English, however, I do not speak it. Capitare, on the other hand. Mi capita sempre di perdere le chiavi. È capitato nel momento sbagliato. Capita anche ai migliori. Yeah, and this is a little bit of a stolen from English. I don't know how often we'd say this in Italian, but it's a nice little phrase nonetheless. Se ti capita di vederlo, salutamelo. Yeah, so this is really like if you happen to see him. I think this really expresses the idea of the chance aspect, if you happen to. Come mai sei capitato qui? How did you end up here? Yeah? And then if we want to, stick them together. Capisci quello che capita? Yeah, do you understand what's happening? È capitato quello che non capivo. So what I didn't understand happened. Again, you're not really going to use these phrases, but I just thought I'd throw them in. Okay, and let's have a look at an example conversation as well. Okay, so I'm going to look at a short conversation and extract some of the key phrases. Allora, Sofia, non ci posso credere. Come mai sei capitato proprio qui? So I don't believe it. How come, or how is it that you managed to, that you ended up, right here? Ma stavo camminando e sono capitato in questa strada per caso. I was walking and I just happened upon the street. Capisco. Anche io ero qui per lavoro, ma non immaginavo di incontrarti. So it's like, yeah, I get it, I understand. Even me, I was here for work, but I didn't think that I would bump into you. Sì, queste cose capitano. Ma dimmi, hai capito come arrivare alla stazione? It's like, these things happen. But tell me, did you manage to arrive at the station? Sinceramente no. Non ci ho capito molto dalle indicazioni. So, honestly, to be truth, no. To be honest, no. I didn't understand much from the directions. Capita spesso con le strade del centro. Ti faccio vedere io. It happens a lot with the streets in the center of the town center. Let me show you. Perfetto. È capitata proprio bene questa coincidenza. So perfect. This coincidence that we bumped into each other in the street, capitata proprio bene. It turned out well. Or, it was lucky that we met. Già, non capita tutti i giorni di risolvere i problemi così facilmente. So yeah, it doesn't happen every day to fix our problems so easily. Okay, so come mai sei capitato? How did you end up? By chance. Sono capitato per caso. Obviously capisco. Hai capito come arrivare? Non ci ho capito molto. Capita spesso. È capitata bene. And non capita tutti i giorni. Okay, so I hope that was useful. I'm going to leave a video on screen here that I think will make sense to watch right after this one. And have fun in your practice. And experiment with capire and capitare and see how it serves you.